It starts with a seismic shift rather than a buzzer beater or viral highlight. Left everyone in the world of sports stunned. Michael Jordan, the greatest basketball player of all time, recently made Caitlin Clark an unexpected suggestion. This was not expected, not insiders, not analysts, not even the WNBA. This was more than just shaking hands or support, because it was so drastic. It's so inventive that it might completely change the structure of women's professional sports. Jordan offered Caitlin Clark her own team. Yes, the sports industry as well as her own team came to a total halt when the greatest of all time says to a novice, "Let's build an empire together." Even so, what does that mean? This was not a hypothetical situation. The most alluring individual in Michael Jordan, a wealthy businessman, reached out to women's basketball. An invitation to become a member of the elite halls of ownership rather than mentorship or sponsorship. This type of deal is exclusive to each age group. There is a chance that Clark will be the one to turn a key and open doors that no other professional basketball player has ever possessed. This was hardly a sentimental moment. Instead, it was a calculated move. Something caught Jordan's attention. He viewed Caitlin Clark as more than just a brilliant basketball player. She was a force in the market, a movement, and a future, but there was something special and indisputable about her. If Jordan is the most informed individual, it has to do with identifying a generational opportunity and seizing utilize it before others do. Everything changed following that offer. He's not only giving her a squad, he's leaving her a legacy. The WNBA is evolving and being revived as a result of this relationship. This partnership enhances the league as a whole. In addition to promoting Caitlin Clark, every young woman who watches is informed that they don't have to give up on entertainment, fashion, sports, and other pursuits. The Charlotte Hornets were only the start of the Jordan brand brings in almost $5 billion a year. The man never fails. This is about vision as much as power. No player received this offer from Jordan. He gave her the ability to begin and carry on a legacy. Franchise management was his area of study. On his resume, it reads like a roadmap. He gained notoriety throughout the world and developed as a master at assembling successful teams. He is now prepared to use the same strategy in the WNBA to dominate any arena, court, company, or other environment. Jordan's background as a remarkable athlete and prosperous businessman provides him a dual viewpoint that no other athlete has. He is aware of what it takes to work for achievement and create something enduring, which is why this period is so important. Apart from being a celebrity, he saw Caitlin as a disruptor, a creator, a brand, and someone who may help a young league and spread awareness of it as never before. He has done this in the past with footwear, franchises, and culture in general. Investors will follow, networks will adjust, and boardrooms will take notice now that he is placing a large wager on Clark. Markets change when Jordan takes action, and this choice may have far-reaching consequences. Basketball for women. But what is it about Caitlin Clark? Because of the circumstances, Jordan defied all expectations. She is a phenomenon. In addition to being gifted, during her first season, she did more than just make headlines, which saw sold-out arenas and TV viewership records. She made revisions. The WNBA was saved by Clark alone. Over 1 million people watch each game, bringing it out of the shadows and into the mainstream. With every retreat, social media is quite active. The jerseys are selling out fast. Point 3. She is creating a brand in real time, not merely enjoying oneself. Statistics can't adequately capture her impact. This relates to cultural gravity. Caitlin Clark is a movement, a media event, and a marketing fantasy all blended. Because of her, networks are fans, both new and old, are coming in greater numbers than ever before. Advertisers are calling, and negotiations are taking place. Instead, it's a shift rather than a moment. Instead of just increasing the bar, she's pushing the boundaries of what's possible. The bar. Jordan admits that her presence has altered the WNBA's corporate culture. He sees the possibilities, financial benefit, and the ability to work with a business that is changing the market. Jordan is prepared to give Clark the keys to a team she should own instead of playing for. The WNBA's sustainability is no longer up for debate. I wonder what Caitlin Clark's limit is, because if her first season is any clue, the possibilities are almost infinite. She has demonstrated that women's sports can be lucrative, popular, and influential on a worldwide scale. Now that Jordan is on her side, we'll find out how powerful that influence can be. At this moment, things grow even more creative. In addition to being novel, the idea of player ownership is innovative. Envision a new era of empowerment, where the most marketable player in the league becomes one of its owners, and players become CEOs, visionaries, and moguls, balancing performance and profit. In a society where athletes occasionally support, conversely, take advantage of them, this demonstrates that you are the product's owner rather than merely a component of it. Since granting Clark parity entails granting her authority, this implies that the WNBA can take the lead instead of copying the NBA. That's the kind of change that doesn't take place quietly, the media takes notice of it. This isn't fiction, though. Music.it is an illustration of a template. Jordan has gone through this financial, legal, and political route and is aware of how difficult it is to carve, rather than merely giving her an opportunity. He is building a monarchy for her by providing a stage and a route for other top female athletes to follow. By seating her at the table. If this is successful, it will affect more than just basketball. If Jordan and Clark can pull this off, the NFL, MLB, and MLS will all be watching because it will alter sports. A new standard for all leagues is then determined by the ownership of the player. Athletes throughout the world start to anticipate it and question themselves, how come I can't have two? Furthermore, this might compel the WNBA to change its existing ownership structure. Wasn't intended for this. When a player like Michael Jordan enters the league, it must change or else it runs the risk of falling behind your door while holding hands with the richest famous person. Players were previously not allowed to visit the boardroom, but they may now have to. NBA teams are currently privately owned by investors. Governance structure, and these investors would soon be under pressure to negotiate ownership with participants. This argument is supported by Clark's ascent. She has demonstrated that a single player can enhance an entire team. League.so why shouldn't she take part? This relates to equating fairness with influence, ownership and equity. If the WNBA hopes to retain players with Clark's degree of financial and emotional dedication, they have to be curious about the outcome. This entails constructing a facility that embodies the contemporary athlete, extending collaboration frameworks and reviewing regulations. This leads us to the Jordan and Nike brands. The upcoming powerhouse, their participation could speed up this collaboration because they have billions of dollars in global sales and a marketing apparatus that affects every aspect of the sports sector. We are talking about international campaigns. Imagine personalized clothing and distinctive shoes influenced by Jordan's brand heritage and Clark's ascent. NBA stadiums packed of fans sporting Clark's iconic Jordans, documentaries, and Netflix specials. There are many opportunities for trips, and with Nike's recent efforts to promote women's sports, the timing couldn't be more ideal. This is the pinnacle of strategy, not merely synergy. Nike's platform would enable Clark's. Beyond basketball, Jordan is adept at using his voice and influence as a weapon. He established an empire using the swoosh. He might now use it to assist Clark in constructing hers. As a team, they would be unbeatable. A mogul and an athlete working together, in intent as much as in name. The nicest thing about the Jordan brand is that it offers more than just sneakers. It sells narratives. Caitlin Clark has a strong chance of becoming its next big star since it sells legends. She has the ability, the determination, and the ability to reach a global audience. What about Jordan? He possesses the infrastructure, the design and the legacy to build upon it. We are all discussing myth-making rather than branding. There would be more to Clark than just a logo. Her movement, message, and mission would be carried by children everywhere. Consider the consequences of generational differences. It appeals to me. A small girl, aware of the woman on the while watching Clark rule the court, Billboard is lacing up her famous JS, controlling the game she plays. Instead of merely inspiring, this type of cultural weaponry transforms. Jordan's brand aims to rewire dreams. It says you don't have to follow the rules, you can make your own. Provide precisely that kind of disturbance. Nike's increasing dedication to women's sports, meanwhile, goes beyond publicity. Profit-driven, they monitor the direction of the movement, they observe the unprecedented engagement, ratings and merchandise figures. Leading that movement is Caitlin Clark. Jordan may become a different leader. Nike's women's basketball portfolio, bringing in a new era and a signature shoe. Under Armour, Puma, Adidas, and other businesses will come after. As they attempt to catch up, what will they all be looking for? That type of power comes from being first. That is the benefit of being able to see. With each press release, Jordan and Clark changed first. With each pair and endorsement of sneakers that are sold out, the story shifts. Playing women's basketball is not charitable. Investment. It is always the most respected. Jordan noticed more than just the genius of Caitlin Clark. He thought of himself as a youthful, aspiring phenomenon willing to transform the world, but only if given the resources. He is currently ensuring that she has the platform, ownership, and impact. He is considering more than simply potential future developments in basketball. The entire sports climate is being shaped by the kind of power move he's making. In the circles of NBA owners, whispers are already evolving into discussions, which then lead to meetings in the boardroom. The same query is being asked across the front offices of WNBA, ESPN, and Wall Street. Can Caitlin Clark pursue a career? What does her possession of Are some members of her own team cruel to others? What does it signify that every elite female athlete in the has everyone been told to keep in their own lane, when someone like Clark genuinely rewrites the blueprint? Time, not with Jordan by her side, bringing his reputation, heritage, and brand to a new vision of the potential of sports. They're altering who gets to possess as well as who gets to participate, which drastically changes the paradigm. Let's not act as though there won't be opposition to this. Gatekeepers, traditionalists have sway. Those who have amassed wealth by maintaining the status quo, this won't sit well with them. They'll refer to it as a distraction, a threat or a ploy. They will oppose it because they know it is risky. Clark and Jordan aren't inquiring for permission because they are aware, deep down, that power and the throne are changing. They are establishing a precedent. Gradually, and each step erodes the foundation of an antiquated institution, every commercial transaction, every sold-out game. The notion that women's sports are less valuable is undermined by every positive tweet and story. This collaboration is refuting the notion that it is worthwhile or joyful. Financing for women's sports is the last nail in the coffin. The timing couldn't be more ideal, with female athletes now receiving greater recognition at an all-time high. As college athletes begin to utilize nil deals, Caitlin Clark is at the center of it all, rather of taking advantage of her. She is profiting from her vision and a future in which she is a power broker rather than merely a participant. If this vision comes to pass, please leave a comment, subscribe, and turn on all alerts, so that you don't overlook anything. Once you click the video on the screen, we'll see you in the next one.